College Corner.
All right, the Dimers model is trying to tell us something tonight because there are 3 plays tonight that feature 3 home underdogs that I think are going to be a little bit more dangerous than we expect. We begin with Baylor against Iowa State tonight in the Big 12. Now, Baylor has been an up and down team this year. They're coming off a loss to TCU. That was a 6-point loss on the road a week ago. I will remind you, TCU just went to Fog Allen, maybe the hardest place to play in all of college basketball last night, took them to the wire in overtime. So I don't think that TCU result is necessarily looking as bad as we thought a week ago from Baylor. This Baylor team has been pretty tough at home. They haven't lost at home yet this season. They had a nice win over Washington in the non-conference. They're great offense. They're going to pose problems for Iowa State defensively. And let's just call this what this is. Iowa State is amazing. They're undefeated at this point in the season. They're not going undefeated all season. And despite a great performance on the road at Purdue earlier this year, I think this is a good spot for them to suffer their first real stinker of the year. If you haven't heard, Baylor just signed the G League center, James Nagy, who is a literal professional basketball player and is now suiting up available for Baylor. I don't love it as much as you don't love it, but it's going to be a problem for an Iowa State front court that is tough, but not all that huge in the interior. So give me Baylor plus 4.5 here. I see what the model sees, and the model has an enormous probability here. Anytime you see a probability in the 60s, you can usually bank on that being something you want to add to your card. We're going to move to the SEC next, where the model has turned its attention to Ole Miss. Ole Miss taking on Arkansas. Now, Ole Miss has really struggled this year. They're just 8-6. They have only beaten one top 100 opponent. At first glance, this one feels like a team you don't see coming. However, you need to remember that Arkansas is extremely young. Arkansas has only played one true road game this season. They lost to Michigan State in the Breslin Center way back in November. They have not played a true road game in 2 full calendar months. I love Darius Acuff, Arkansas's point guard, as much as anybody, but when you get into conference play, it is just a different challenge to go on the road against a desperate team and a great coach in Chris Beard who can scheme up defense as good as anybody in the country. Model loves Ole Miss plus 3.5, and I think that's a smart play as well. And we will round out our desperate teams at home plays for the night with Loyola Chicago catching 0.5 point here at home against Davidson. Now, once again, speaking of disappointing teams, Loyola Chicago is 5-10 outright this season. However, they're a different team than they were when they lost 7 straight games back in November. They've won 4 of their last 7 now, including a really good neutral site win over a Santa Clara team that is top 60 in the entire sport, nearly 70 spots higher on KenPom than this Davidson team. I think Loyola Chicago's gotten healthy. They figured out some personnel things rotation-wise that have led to more success in recent months. Remember, this was the team that was picked second in the A-10 conference in the preseason. Just because they didn't have it figured out in November doesn't mean they don't have it figured out by conference play. They've righted the ship, and this is a number we would have dreamed of at the beginning of the season, getting them at home plus 0.5 point against a Davidson team that is nothing special. Add those 3 together on your card, and you have 3 teams that fit the same theme tonight. Desperate, at home, needing a win, and the model loves a home underdog. Baylor, Ole Miss, and Loyola Chicago, that's our card for Wednesday night.
Have a literal wolf basically here. Home dogs are not dogs, they're wolves. So love to see it, Greg. Thank you as always, man.
Yes, sir. It's the most dangerous thing in college hoops. A home underdog. 3 of them tonight should be fun.